Oh my gosh, you're here!
Welcome to My Chatbot Life, where chatbot marketers share high converting strategies in this new conversational marketplace. Each week, MKJ introduces you to bot builders who are just like you, a little techie, a little markety, and a whole lot of geeky. Buckle up as Chatbot Mom enjoys another journey into My Chatbot Life.
Hello there, bot buddies. MKJ here, Chatbot Mom. Welcome to My Chatbot Life. And this is the first interview that I did for this show, this new show. And I can think of no one better than one of my dearest friends and someone who's been in my Chatbot life since basically almost the very beginning. We're talking probably 3 or 4 months after I started this journey, I met Niel Reichl. And he has a company called BotBot. B-O-T-T. You can find it at botbot.co. And he has an incredibly interactive community and an amazing course on chatbots and chatbot marketing. But basically, he calls himself a super proud mentee of mine because he can tell the story that basically shows that he tried to do work for me for free in the beginning. And I don't do that. I don't hire people for free. I don't take advantage. I feel like it's taking advantage of people's expertise. And so I don't do that. I refused. I said, nope, you can't work for me for free. Sorry, we can't do that. And finally, he got around to just hiring me as a mentor, and we haven't looked back since. He has done incredible things, and I have been so honored and proud to be on this journey with him and participate with him and give him any possible advice or expertise that I have to give. And I hope that through this, you will see how he's taught messenger marketing to well over 800 students himself. I got to participate in that, people. That's absolutely incredible. All I did was help him on the way, and then he took it from there. So I am so proud to be involved in this man's life, in his family, and I can't wait to meet him in person, to be honest. And I hope you enjoy this conversation of My Chatbot Life with Mr. Niel Reichl. All right, my friends, My Chatbot Life tribe, I got to tell you, I am so excited to introduce you to, if you don't know yet, Mr. Niel Reichl. Niel, how you doing?
Awesome. As always.
As always. Yes, I am so honored that you would join me on this show as my very first chatbot interviewee. You, my friend, are special. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Not just for that, but for many other things. So let's start this off by telling everyone what was the job you were doing immediately before you discovered chatbots? Way back in what year again?
2016.
Mm-hmm.
It was the last quarter of 2016. But first, I would like to say super thank you. Being episode number 1. So that puts Andrew Warner, that puts Pat Flynn, that puts all the other guys, Neil Patel. Oh my God. So I'll come to you over, guys. I'm episode number 1.
That's right.
Anyway, what was I doing? I was literally messaging people to get me as I was messaging people in the podcasting world to hire me as their podcast editor. That's it. I'm in John Lee Dumas's group, and I got laid off 2015. I can share that story at a later time, but I was really scraping by and really messaging people, hey, can I edit your podcast for a few couple of bucks? And until I found out the email from Andrew Warner, Chatbots.
Wow. Okay. So what made you, so out of that, we were all doing something else. And then all of a sudden this magnet just started pulling us right toward chatbots. And yeah, Andrew is one of the main people that has brought a lot of people into chatbots. But so what was it that made you stop and go, okay, no more podcast editing. This is it.
That's actually a really good question, which I've been asked by, not to brag, but thousands of students, they've asked me, what made you want to choose chatbots? Probably it was the thing that really convinced me was from Andrew Warner, the guy, I mean, one of the most known people in the marketing world. And he said that this is the new wave. And hearing it from someone who's really credible and really walking his talk, eating his own cooking, that made me go ahead and stop. Okay, let me just go ahead and check it out. Stick to it for a couple of months versus all the other things that I tried for a day or two, watched a couple of webinars and then move shifted to something else.
Yeah.
I stuck to it and I met you. And that's when everything changed. And I hired you as the mentor. The mentor.
The
who rejected me when I was asking.
Go ahead. Tell that story. Go ahead. I'll just sit here and listen.
So here's what happened. So I know a lot of people in the podcasting world, but they don't know me. So what I was doing was, okay, try to offer value and just see, hey, chatbots are the newest thing right now. I've watched a couple of videos. Let me go ahead and create you a bot. And oftentimes, I'd even send them a demo bot. A lot of demo bots with their names. I mean, I just created their Facebook page. I created the entire shebang, right? Mm-hmm. And then I came over to you, knowing that you're already with Bot Academy. You're one of the first graduates, and you're the one who had success before even entering Bot Academy. So I just went ahead, messaged you, and asked, okay, what can I do for you for free? As in offering my services, but there wasn't really anything specific that I could offer. I just said, can I work for you for free? And she said no. And this lady said no. And I was like quite surprised, right? Other people took the chance, but she said no. And then later on, as we were talking, right, we were still connected, and I saw all this success coming with chatbots and Mary Catherine Johnson, MKJ. And then I asked her, would it be all right if I hire you as my mentor? Okay. And that's when I realized how thankful I should have been at the very start that she rejected me. Because that's when everything literally changed, as in the gates open, the gates of abundance open from that day on.
And why do you think that is? Do you remember why I said no?
One thing that I could remember was that you knew the value of work and you explained that to me, that you couldn't just take someone who was really, I know you kind of heard the desperation on my end. You kind of sensed it. So being the chatbot mom that you are, you protected me from that scenario. That's what I'm thinking even up to this day. And I'm super, super thankful for you doing that. I mean, it takes a tough mama to do that.
I couldn't. You're right. That's exactly. I can't. I don't take anyone's work for free. It's work. It's something we put our heart into. And there is value to that. Not that we have to put a monetary value to it, but we do, because it feeds our families. It feeds us. And so that's number one. And then number two, there was the course or the mentoring that you talked about. I hadn't completely designed that whole mastermind yet. And I knew I was going to sell it for a large chunk of money. And I knew that I wanted you to be in that group. But I didn't want to charge you that huge sum of money because it wasn't ready yet. So it wasn't like I was giving you anything or, slighting you in any way. But it was the perfect opportunity for us to be able to work together without, with hopefully helping you go to the next level that you needed, and give me some value that I felt I could provide, and give you some value that you felt you could pay for. And we just, you were my very first student. So, I mean, it really, I'm so blessed. And I have ever since, everybody who comes to me and says, well, I'll just go offer my services for free. And I have friends who have graduated Bot Academy with me, and influencers come to them, or they go to influencers and offer their services, and they do it for free. And I smack them. Well, not literally, obviously. I've never smacked anybody
Virtually.
literally, but figuratively, chatbot moms look like, stop that, stop it. And they always have issues. Always, the influencer does not value it. There is no, they don't get things to them in a timely manner. There's no value there. So I'm adamant about not doing things for free, and I look at that as a not a positive thing, as a negative thing. So thank you for telling that story, and thank you for clearing it up. But now take that perfectly goes into mindset, right? So
Yeah.
tell me how, I know how you learned chatbots, right? We've worked together and you've done a lot of work on your own. Oh my goodness. You did not just learn from me, that's for sure. You are a self-starter. So I don't take that credit at all. But what was the biggest mindset challenge that you had coming into chatbots? And then we'll talk about how that's changed. But remember back to when you first came into chatbots and you were doing the podcasting, what's the biggest mindset challenge you had coming into this new industry?
It was really pricing. How could I price my service the way, just to be very transparent about it, how could I price my service the way those US-based people could price their service? And I've encountered a lot of people, not naming names, but immigrants who said that, how could you charge that much when you're not in the US? And that was the biggest blockage that I had, which, we've talked about this in the mastermind. And then I learned, okay, which you generously shared, was find out what results could you deliver. Focus on the results, the value of the results that you could deliver, and base your pricing from that. And that's when it literally opened my mind, as in it really made me say, okay, that's pretty awesome. And a big shout out as well to my other coach. His name's John Pagulayan. And what he said was that don't really have to worry about the pricing. Focus on the results that you can deliver. And as long as you can deliver the results, okay, pricing is just, as Ramit Sethi would say it, a triviality, right?
Yeah.
And that's when I really started, okay, abundance is real.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I remember a couple of people that that were looking to hire you, and you had conversations and they were recorded Zoom calls. And these people, the things they were saying, I was shocked. I was so shocked that people would actually say, well, how could you charge that when you're in the Philippines? I mean, they're going to, it's just like Facebook has drilled into us that we have Facebook ads is the only way we can grow our business page, right? Is you have to put ads money behind it. Well, we have been taught, oh, people from the Philippines, you can get them for cheap. And so everybody's coming with that attitude instead of realizing, like you said, the value that you give. I was so angry. I just could not believe that people would just automatically assume that human beings, just because of the location where they happen to live, that they should only charge a certain amount of money. I was just livid. I couldn't believe it.
And you still remember the exact words up to this day. It's been more than a year.
I can't even believe it. It just shocked me so much. It is really, truly, to me, they don't see it as such, but I see it as being absolutely prejudiced. It is bigoted. It's prejudiced to judge someone solely based on their nationality, where they live, and expect, Anyway, we got to stop that, because I'm just like, I can't even believe it. I just can't believe it.
Chatbot mom and her.
Oh, don't even. Yeah. You mess with my people, you're done. Okay. Right. I mean, it's just, yeah. Anyway, we're past that now.
Mhm.
let that go.
Yeah,
Really.
right.
So then take that. That was the beginning. Now, a year and a half later, right? 2 years later, coming up to 3 years later after you first started on this journey,
Mm.
what now? What do you feel is the biggest mindset challenge you now have that you have overcome?
The biggest mindset challenge that I have now overcome was one is pricing, and the other one was getting rejected. I used to fear getting rejected so much, but now I see it as them disqualifying themselves early on, and selling now has become a an inverted pyramid for me. That I want to find out the rejections as early as possible. I tell the pricing as early as possible. I find out if they have the assets as early as possible, so we both don't waste time with each other, and we end up as really happy people saying, "I'm hey man, thanks. I really appreciate it that you brought that out right at the very start instead of us having to go through back and forth." And uh, that's one thing that I always teach people right now.
Yes. Yes,
I,
yes. I call it invite people to reject you.
I
Invite
learned
them.
this also from you. I know that we
Invite them
had
to reject you. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes. Oh my
DSG. You
gosh.
were DSG, I remember.
Yes, yes, exactly. Yes. It's that is so wonderful. So how has that one mindset shift? I mean, bring yourself back to email because I know you're an amazing email copywriter. You really, really are. I love your emails. You totally bring me into your copy. So you're an amazing email copywriter. And email is one of those places where we don't want people to unsubscribe. We really need them because we need large numbers of people in order for those 20% or less to open, right?
Yeah,
Open
yeah.
our messages and then click through. So tell me how have you been able to handle that shift? And can you talk about how that change in mindset and allowing people to move on has impacted your business? I mean, you've talked about abundance a couple of times.
Yeah.
How has that actually impacted your business?
Well, one thing just to clarify with emails, we really hate the fact that someone unsubscribes. I mean, we love stats, right? We see 100 people subscribe to our email list. We make sure that they open every email, but just seeing one person unsubscribe, we feel like it's the end of the world, right? But with chatbots, it's a different ballgame. And there's this thing inside messenger marketing, which I coined, which I call is uh, the velocity of conversion. Okay, so which doesn't much exist in terms of emails. I don't put a word down on email. What I'm saying is that emails are a long-term relationship, right? But when it comes to messenger marketing, you want to disqualify as early as possible, okay? And something that you really have to find out is how fast are you converting instead of how many are you converting, how fast are you converting. And truth be told, in one business that I'm in right now, which is in the aesthetic industry, we make sales of $600 worth of procedures. It's a real procedure, right? It's a real procedure in as fast as 6 days. 6 days, as in from cold traffic to a conversion to a person walking into the clinic who has already made the reservation online without human intervention. So that's something. The speed of conversion is something that you don't really much see in the emails. But if you combine it with emails and messenger marketing, boom, that's going to explode your business.
So I love that term, velocity of conversions, because so talk about a little bit, because I know you're an amazing coach and teacher yourself. Talk about why that is. Why is that velocity so important in Messenger rather than the long-term storytelling relationship in email? Why is velocity involved in chatbots?
One thing we found out is that from cold traffic, okay, so this is really like marketing talk right now. In cold traffic, there is a subset of people who are really hot people, hot buyers. Okay, they could be really cold, but they're hot buyers, and they really want to buy it now. Oftentimes, if you bring them to a sequence, that hotness dies down. So instead of you getting a sale, they find out all the value and look for someone else who's already selling the product, right?
Mm-hmm.
Versus in messenger marketing, you give them the offer, you give them the opportunity to buy the offer at the very start. And at the same time, you're still nurturing them with all the value to build that trust. Okay, it still is that know, like, and trust factor. But then again, there are people who are really raring to go buy. And how I found out about this was when talking to real business owners with revenues between 30,000 USD a month, things like that. One of their biggest issues is cash flow, cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. And they were thinking, okay, how fast will I get the results that you're talking about? And I said, let's go ahead and find out. And when we got that stats, 6 days, that was when they really found out that this was a solution. Money now has a different value with money a month from now, 3 months from now, because pay is due on the end of the month. The bills are due at the end of the month. Payroll is due at the end of the month. So I'd rather get the money now, even if it's just like 75% of what you're saying of money next year, which is 100%.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And I think the only thing I would add to that is exactly how chatbots work. Not only that, but because chatbots are, we have all the little buttons and it's an actual conversation with people. They get to click buttons. They get to interact with the content, interact with the text. Because of that, at each button they click adds to that velocity. So each button that they click is like a mini yes or a micro commitment. So as they start clicking buttons, it gets easier and easier and easier to click buttons if they're hot, if this is actually what they need. And the people who don't want to, they're the ones that can go away, and we're fine with that. But the ones who keep clicking, that's where the velocity comes into play. I love that terminology. I love that. And I'm going to reference you every time I talk about it, because it is exactly that. So every time they click that button, that velocity increases and it gets easier and easier and easier. And it's more slippery. It's just as easier for them to keep clicking buttons so that when they get to the final yes, to make that final decision, it's a no-brainer. It is easy because they've done it along the way and they've felt comfortable with you. They've developed that note, like, and trust faster because they get to interact with what you have to say rather than just sit back and read it, right?
Exactly.
Wow. That is amazing. Yes. So okay. All right, Chatbot Tribe, right? If you take two things away from what Niel just said, number one, change that mindset from hoarding your subscribers and wanting to have every single one of them. Let go of that, allow for the abundance to happen, allow for the people who want to be there. And then once you do that, you will open up your opportunities for those people to have a velocity of conversion. Get faster and faster and easier for them to actually buy your stuff. Oh my goodness, 6 days for a $600 purchase. And that's a physical purchase. They have to walk in the door, not just a purchase online of a digital product.
And
that's amazing.
They're buying something that's going to literally stick something in their bodies, right? So that takes a different level of know, like, and trust.
Oh yeah, definitely. Wow. Yeah, that's okay. I just keep getting blown away every wow. So let's talk a little bit about fun, because I really have a lot of fun building these things. It's a lot of fun. So are you having fun building chatbots?
Definitely. But the most fun that I'm getting is getting the responses from the subscribers. How truthful, how raw, how honest they are with their responses. That's the most amazing part really for me, which you can actually just copy and paste for your copy, for the copywriting. And it's like speaking to a friend.
They just share it they share it with you right there. So you could use that in your copywriting as either pain points or positives, which, wherever you're talking about. Exactly.
And
So
one thing to add there is that messenger marketing is a two-way conversation. It's just not one way, when it's really normal for them to reply. So when you tell them to reply to a free flow conversation, they reply.
as opposed to email, when we say, hey, hit the reply button, or hit the shoot me a message back and tell me what you think, and maybe 0.1% actually do that.
Yeah, that's a sad part.
Yeah, right.
That's the really sad part.
But they're ready for the conversation in the chat, because that's what they're supposed to be doing. They know that's what it's for.
It's native. It's natural. It's native.
Yeah. Wow. So is that 6 days to a $600 purchase? Would you say that's your claim to fame so far? Or what is your proudest moment or proudest statistic or result as a chatbot builder?
There are just, okay. So one of the things that I really believe in is eating my own cooking. So I have used messenger marketing as a way to teach people. So that's one, is mindset. Second, of course, is messenger marketing. And I'm really proud that I've taught, right now, the latest stat is 1,300 plus people who learned messenger marketing from me. It's a good mix of people who paid and a good mix of people who got it for free. But then again, for those people who paid, kudos to you, because you're taking action on it, versus the people who didn't pay. It's just sitting on their desktop. But then again, that's their choice. So proudest moment, that's one. Second proudest moment is being a ManyChat brand ambassador. So one of the first in the world ManyChat ambassador. I haven't been to the events yet, but super honored from Mikael, from Sid, and all the other guys from ManyChat. So probably that's one.
Yes, I remember that day when you posted that online, that you were going to be the first ambassador outside of the US to host events outside of the US and community groups and all of those things. Wow, kudos to you. Definitely. That is an amazing honor. All right, so let's get down to really thinking about life and your chatbot life and your life in general. So imagine, this is a long time from now, but someone in the future is writing your memoirs, your autobiography. And this is way in the future, toward the end of your life, when you have accomplished so much. What do you think would be the title of that book?
I think probably the words that I live by right now, which is pack it, just do it. So it's my funny way of, and not being flagged by using the F word.
Yeah, right.
So me and my mix of P and the Fs, right? So pack it, just do it. Probably that's the book, because that's something that I live by right now. Stopped the analysis paralysis thing, that there's more risk in overthinking and not doing anything. There's more harm in actually doing nothing. So
wow.
Probably that's one. Yeah. And written by the wife.
I was going to say, who would write it? She'd be the one going, yeah, you said this all the time.
Yeah. And she is the witness to all my attempts. I mean, from blogging to podcast editing, to creating my own podcast, to Periscope. She's seen it all. She's seen it all.
Periscope. Say that again.
And every time there's this new thing before, I tell her, this is it, honey. This is it. We're going to be rich.
Yeah. But chatbots are it, right? They are leading. Yeah. They are leading somewhere nowhere else is going, really.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so she would write it, and we already have the quote, like you said, pack it, just do it.
Yeah.
And so tell me a time. So this is what's going to happen. This is what your life, at least right now, because I'm here to tell you, I'm older than probably every single person that I might interview. Okay.
By a couple of months.
Oh, come on. There are maybe a couple of people that might be right about my same age, but most of them I am definitely older than them. So I know that right now where you are, this is your story. 10, 20, 30 years from now, it may be different, but you will still look back at that and that saying, and now you will look at it a little bit differently, and you will see possibly sometimes when that served you very, very well, and sometimes when you probably shouldn't have said that, because it took you a different direction instead of sticking with what you were going to do. Is there anything that you not necessarily regret, but any of those times when you said, "Pack it, just do it," and you just went after this new thing, and you look back and say, I probably should have stuck with that old one instead of chasing that new thing? Is there anything there?
I mean, with all honesty and transparency, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
It's just what you really focus on. Okay, so one recent thing was I said, "Pack it, just do it." Okay, launch a group coaching for, if I could have led 100 people, I could probably in another group, I could do it on my own. So I said, okay, for just how many bucks? Probably $10 a month. I'd get 1,000 people coach, and this would also be something that I'd be really proud of, that it's worth spending my time, or probably let's just lead 250 people, to be really conservative about it. And I didn't get to a 10th of the signups that I was expecting, versus me charging when I did carefully think it over, but not overly carefully, when I was charging like $3,000 a student, and I got closing rates of 80%.
Yeah.
Which is why? It happens all the time.
Yes. And we have to keep reminding ourselves of those lessons that we learned, right? Because that 3,000, there's value there. Mm-hmm. That when you put that dollar amount to it, people have an expectation that there's a huge value you're going to deliver.
Exactly.
Whereas if you put a $10 value on it, they could drop that in, at least here in the US, they could drop that a week or every 2 days on a cup of coffee at Starbucks.
Exactly.
There's not really any value there. So yes, I hear you. And it's really hard and I do that now. I've got this podcast, I've got a challenge I'm doing, I've got the course I'm doing the web. So many things that are distracting my attention. And luckily I have some team members that I can put on to other, topics or other projects, so that I don't have to be the one to do it all. But I have the same pack it, just do it issue. I just do. It's like an idea comes into my head. I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be amazing, and go for it. I'm like, stop, Mary, stop. Take a deep breath. Let's really find out if that's really where you should be.
Think it over. My quantifying strategy for this is, think it over. Give it 24 hours. And if it still does make sense, go ahead and test it. Validate it. Okay. Yeah. And the best validation, of course, is payment. That's the best validation.
Yes.
Ever.
That's right. Payment. That's right. Yes. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And the more you do that, and you have to have a minimum. Mm-hmm. Right. So like you said, you got maybe a quarter of what you expected, and you have to say, if I don't get this number of people, I'm not going to do it.
Exactly.
And if I do get this number of people, then it's worth it for me to invest the time to keep going. That's really the change that I've made. Instead of just slap things up, I sell it first. And if it sells, then we move on. If it doesn't, then we definitely move on to something else. Yeah. Wow. All right. Pack it, just do it, people. You've heard it here first. And I've got to tell you, there's a couple of amazing sayings from this gentleman. I love eat your own cooking. And you know what that means? Walk the walk, do it yourself. Don't just talk about it. You got to do it, right? I love that. But my favorite saying of yours, and I cannot wait for this to come true, I cannot wait for this to actually happen, is when we can meet belly to belly.
I know.
When we can meet belly to belly instead, because it's no longer face to face, because I'm meeting you face to face right now. And we're across the world from each other.
Yeah.
So I cannot wait. I love that saying, meeting belly to belly, because you can't see below where I'm wearing my pajama bottoms, which I wear pretty much every day. Comfortable pajama bottoms. As long as you look decent on the top, that's all that matters. But I got my nice little jammy bottoms and my little fuzzy socks. So I can't wait for the day that we could meet belly to belly, my friend.
Thank you so much. And thank you for all these opportunities. One thing that I haven't said thank you much is that when you prove yourself that you can actually sell a thing that you haven't really learned that much of, as long as you understand the concept and the results, guys, try to Google that interview with MKJ, Andrew Warner, and that was really when I learned, okay, you just have to learn the concepts, the basics, the foundations. Okay, the technicality will come after, and that was how she pre-sold her services and got the money to pay for Bot Academy.
Yes. Yes. And you have that too. It isn't the technology. It isn't the tech that we had to learn. I mean, yeah, we had to learn the basics of how that works, and that keeps changing. So we've got to continue learning it, right?
Yes.
But if you bring your own marketing expertise, you bring your own mindset, you bring the things that you've learned over however long you've been in business or in the world and paying attention.
Yes.
That's the value that you bring, not just this new tech. That's the thing. And thank you for bringing that up, because that's exactly all I did was put together what I knew already that doesn't change. This is human relationships. It's marketing, and the new technology that's coming out. And I just put those two things together, and that was the mind-blowing experience that I had. It all made sense to me. So yeah, that was a huge mindset that I had to overcome. I thank you so much, Niel, for being my first guest, for being so transparent, for being so open and giving with what you do. And I can't wait to meet you belly to belly. I really can't wait to give you a huge hug.
As well.
Take care. Take care, my friend.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the My Chatbot Life podcast. To watch this video chat, visit mychatbotlife.com and get all the rocket boosters you need for your own chatbot success.